was your Sunday?
Ooh, Sunday fun day. Let's see. Well, I went to church on Sunday.
Nice.
And after church, we hung out with Julie's family, which was a lot of fun. We went to a birthday party for
cool.
one of our little nieces, our boys' cousins.
Very cool. Where was that at?
It was up at a nature center.
Oh,
so
cool.
Cora is her name, and she is very into like nature and science. I love it.
Fantastic.
And so we ended up going to this nature center, and I know this sounds really nerdy, and I guess we're all really nerdy in the family, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But we went to this nature center, and they gave us these little tiny nets, and there was this floating dock we went out on, and they were just basically said, hey, there's this pond here. Just scoop your nets up. It's not going to look like you get anything in your net, but then go ahead and put it in this tinier bucket, and then we'll look at it really closely.
Sweet.
And we'll see what we caught.
That's so cool.
There were many things like there was all these little water bugs and things you don't really see with your eyes. Minnows, and then we caught like a bunch of tadpoles. Like,
that's awesome.
And some of them had like little legs coming off them, like they were starting to form. And that was pretty fun. So yeah, that's what we did. And then we went home and crashed and went to bed. So,
dude, that like beats Chuck E. Cheese any day.
Oh, I know.
What a great idea.
Yeah, because 2 weeks ago we had a Chuck E. Cheese birthday for my son.
Yeah.
And it's like unorganized chaos.
Totally
at least they're contained in a building. And the parents have to check them in and out. But really, it's just like, where's my child?
Right.
Oh, this game. Now he's over here. It's like ping pong just everywhere. So
100%. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what'd you end up doing on Saturday?
Not Sunday. Saturday.
Well, what'd you do on Sunday, I guess?
No, it's fine. Saturday. We're being specific. So that works. Saturday, I went to my first casino concert.
All right.
Yeah. Which was fun.
Who'd you go see?
So the first band was called Toad the Wet Sprocket. Have you heard of them?
Nope.
Okay, they were a 90s band, one hit wonder.
Okay.
I can't even tell you the name of the song that they are hit from. But they're good. They're entertaining. And then we saw Gin Blossoms, another 90s band.
Okay.
And the Bare Naked Ladies.
Oh, okay.
So it was good. They headlined, and
I knew the Bare Naked Ladies. I didn't know the other ones that you said.
Sure.
But
that's understandable. I mean, we just went because it was fun. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of any of them, to be honest with you, but our friends 3 years ago, post-COVID, got these tickets, and they're like, you want to come? We're like, sure. And then it got postponed for 3 years.
Oh my gosh. 3 years this concert has been in the making.
Yes.
It better have been good.
It was entertaining.
It was entertaining. So who all goes to casino concerts? I guess I've never been to a concert at a casino.
Well, everybody sits. It was an experience in itself because I'm used to like going to like a band like Green Day,
right?
And everybody's like,
you're all standing up,
mosh pit, all of it. I don't do that, but the mosh pit, everybody's standing.
I would love to see you in a mosh pit. No. That would be amazing.
I don't know if that would be amazing.
It would be.
But yeah, a casino concert. Have you been to one?
I have not been to a casino concert
because it's. I mean, I don't want to pick on people, but it's kind of an old person concert venue.
Okay.
So everybody's seated. It kind of feels like just an auditorium.
Right.
Like you're watching a movie.
Okay. It's like you're watching a movie. So Ben, I don't mean to point this out, but you said it's kind of for the older crowd.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'd have to actually probably put myself in that category.
Are you getting up there in age enough to?
Yeah,
count yourself as the older crowd?
Is like when you're growing up and you like in the 90s, then they're playing 90s bands at the casino.
Yes, that is sad, but you're also loving it because it's the songs you grew up on.
Yeah. It was a good time.
I mean, that's amazing.
It was fun.
Awesome. Well, welcome to another Creative Studio Productions podcast. I'm John Oney.
And I'm Ben Branham.
And we are here to specifically talk about today the art of saying no.
Absolutely.
And when to say no.
Mm-hmm.
So you ever have one of those times where you just kind of feel in your gut that maybe something is a little stretching beyond your scope of what you practice for your craft. Maybe that's a graphic design project that is a little outside of your scope, or maybe that might be a video project that's a little outside your scope. And we ran into this.
Yeah, we have a few times.
Yeah.
In fact, because, we have a specific set of skills and things that we tend to gravitate towards. And not all of the things that we get asked to do fit that box.
Right.
And it's not like you want to be contained in that box. You want to,
stretch
diversify
yourself.
and stretch ourselves. But if it's a project that doesn't align with your values, if it doesn't fit that criteria, I think clients appreciate your honesty and be like, this is kind of outside my scope. It's not my skill set. Whatever it might be. I think that's helpful, because if you just bid it high and say, yeah, we can do it, and they bite at the project and it doesn't end up being a good fit, it can be an issue. Yeah,
definitely. And I think you kind of brought it up there, because there was a project kind of early on in our kind of opening our business that we hit, that was kind of something we came up against. And we're not here to put anybody else down by any means, but there was a person who came to us from a pretty well-known company. Like, this was one of those things where you were like, why are they coming to us?
Right. It would have been a great client. It would have been it would have brought in a lot of
oh my gosh
of value and exposure.
Yep.
And it would have been great to snag the client, because we have
and to even just put that client out there, that we had this client, would have been amazing.
Right. Right. It would have been a great portfolio piece. And on the surface, it was a great thing. It was literally just music videos, right? Which is super creative. It's compelling. It's right up our alley. You can tell a story.
We can tell stories with them. Yep.
The unfortunate part was their values didn't align with our values, and we didn't want to put out that content. And we really struggled, because especially when you're first starting, you don't want to say no to a client.
Right.
Well, like we're struggling. You were not getting a ton of revenue.
Yep.
You want to say yes to everything, and so your tendency, especially as a business owner, is to say yes.
Right.
But yeah, what we sat down, thought about it, brainstormed, even prayed about it.
I even think we took some time over the weekend.
We 100%.
Yeah, because we really needed to think through this. Because like you said, it was a value thing. It was one of those things where if I attach my business to this type of product, then people are going to look at our business differently.
Yes.
And it was one of those things where we went, I don't know if that's a good idea. And this was, like we said, a substantial project, and could have gotten us a lot of revenue like that right off the bat.
And potentially other clients that are in the same venue, same genre.
Right.
We could have done more music videos, local videos, even travel potentially.
Yep.
So it was hard to say no.
Yeah. But it was the right thing to do, because when your values don't align up with your client's values, and I'm not talking about let's define values here, because we're not talking about like your values as a corporation, like integrity, honesty, and stuff like that.
Right.
But when there is something that personally could possibly hurt the company in a negative way instead of a positive light, that would be a negative value.
Right. And for me is like, would I be proud to show this video to my wife?
Oh, that's a good one.
To my teenager.
Yeah.
To my friends. And if you're like, this is sketchy, I don't want to show it to them. I don't think it's a good fit.
Right. Yeah. Then it's a definite no.
Right.
Because that's not the type of values you want to push on your children and people around you.
Absolutely.
And whatnot. And there are times where, I think we have had clients where maybe our values don't align per se.
Right.
but the work itself isn't reflected on us.
Right. I would be proud to show it to my grandma.
Right.
You know, so
right.
if you can show it to your grandma or you know,
that's it. If you could show it to your grandmother, or it's like when you watch a movie, like, have you ever watched a movie and then thought it was so good and then you invite your parents or your grandma over to watch it with you and you go, oh wait, maybe this,
I didn't
screen this right. Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, that was one example. And there's smaller examples too. I had a client come to me and ask me to do some Photoshop work. And it had nothing to do with what we just talked about.
Right.
But it didn't fit my skill set. I can't composite a bunch of images together and make an amazing, piece out of many, many pieces.
Sure.
So it just didn't fit my scope. And I was just really honest with the client. I'm like, hey, I really appreciate you looking at, thinking of us and inquiring, but this is outside my scope. Right. And I think the client appreciated that.
Yeah.
Instead of wasting his time.
Yeah, because like video, each graphic has its own story to tell.
Right.
And there are certain styles that you are well versed in.
Yep.
And maybe other styles that would be stretching beyond your means.
Right.
And that's not you.
Right.
Right. It's like every artist has a look. Every artist has a feel. It's the same thing with video and graphics.
Yep.
We all have our looks and feel. And you got to know, what is the boundary of my skill set?
Yeah.
And don't say yes to something that maybe it falls outside of that. Because one, you're going to be unhappy probably in the end. I mean, it's good to stretch yourself, like you said.
Absolutely.
Practice on it.
Yes.
Go tell that if you want to take that client, make sure they're aware, like, hey, this is outside my skill set, but I want to try something.
Yep.
And if you don't like it, then we can go back to the drawing board type of thing.
100%.
But most of the time, your skill set and where you want to be stretched. And if it falls outside of the area that you want to be stretched, it's just best to say no.
Yeah. It's best to say no and just to be honest.
Right.
Yeah. So, and keep in mind too, that it's okay to say no. I think that we get in this mindset as business owners and especially as entrepreneurs, we don't want to say no because we want to say yes. We're providers essentially, and we're trying to get as much content and projects as we can, and it's difficult sometimes. Right. But just know it's okay to say no.
Right. I think the ones that are really hard to say no to might be ones that fall within your skill set, and it might even be somewhat of a passion project for you. But the price in which the customer wants to pay doesn't reflect the quality or quantity of your work.
Yes.
And those are hard to say no to because you might be passionate about it. I can think of one specifically right now that I had taken on and I said yes to, and I'm happy to do it. It's a really good cause. I can't wait to do it. But the problem is this video has taken up time. Yeah. And that time is something that is valuable to me because I have these other clients' videos that I need to get out. Right. So yes, I said yes to it. I know this is the art of saying no, but I have also communicated with the client saying, hey, just to let you know, you're getting a bargain on this. And because we're doing this for such a low cost, like the priority has to be some of my other clients. You'll get the video, right? But you might not get it as fast as some of my other clients because that time is needed to work on other projects that actually bring in revenue for the company.
Right. And that gets back to being honest, just being honest with your clients and just saying those things up front is hugely beneficial.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I think probably one of the things that you, Ben, taught me, and we'll talk more about this in another podcast, but was how to say no because it's not where your company wants to go. You were able to last November, we started getting a lot of small businesses. So small businesses need websites. We build websites. They want a video for the website. We do videos for website.
Absolutely.
And then they also wanted some advertising.
Yes, a
on
little bit of marketing.
Facebook, on Google, on YouTube ads. We did Spotify ads.
Yep.
And one of the things that I found is that, one, it was exhausting to continue to kind of do these ads because it fell outside my skill set. Yes, I was researching things online and I was doing things online, but it fell outside my skill set. And two, it really never was who we said we wanted to be.
Right.
We don't want to be an advertising agency.
Nope.
We want to be a creative content company where we create content for other companies. They can manage their own advertising and whatnot.
Right.
So my point being is we are able to say no to stuff when we know our mission.
Yep.
When we know what we are doing and when we know what we're doing for the company.
Yeah. And just because we can do something doesn't mean that we should do it.
Good point.
You know, getting back to like the marketing piece, we can do some marketing pieces. We know what works and what doesn't for the most part. I mean, we're not experts, and just because we can do it doesn't mean we should, because again, it's taken away from your main business. It's spreading you thin. It kind of muddies what you do. Right. And so the more things you like, oh yeah, I do that, I do this, I do that. Yep. The more dangerous it can get.
Yep.
And so I think it's healthy to really evaluate. I think we talked about this, you and I, that every 6 months we would just sit down and say, hey, are we doing what we want to be doing? Right. Are we making the story-based videos we want? Are we doing the correct design pieces that we want? And refocus. Yeah.
And we do that so that we keep our mission and our vision in front of us.
Absolutely.
Because when we do that, that helps us then say, no, we can look at a project and we say, hey, this corporation wants us to come in and, shoot 25 tech videos on how to use whatever.
Right.
Can we do it? Yes.
Sure.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Should we do it? Maybe not, because that is not what that company needs. One, because what we're going to shoot is going to be a highly cinematic, story-based kind of video.
Right.
And they want this very technically driven. And that's kind of falls outside of our scope of what we would say yes to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, even with like graphic design, when you look at kind of like what certain customers want or need, there's a certain style that people are looking for.
Right.
I mean, when people purchase a graphic from us, they're really kind of purchasing your talent, right?
And yours when you do video.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. And our talent is usually very specific in what we are talented at, right? I mean, and so getting back to like the Photoshop thing and a composite of a collage of things, that's just not my style. Right. And it's not what I specialize on. Again, like you say, I could have probably done it, but would I have been happy with it? Probably not. Would the client have been happy with it? Probably not.
Right.
So.
Right. And so when you say no, you're actually doing a service not only to yourself, but also to your client.
Absolutely.
And we're not saying say no to everything that would stretch you by any means. Not. But you know what is outside your scope. Nobody else can define that for you. You know what is outside your scope.
Yeah.
You know what would stretch you too far, and that would make a client unhappy and also you unhappy. So that's a good thing to know. The art of saying N-O. No.
Love it.
Well, thanks for joining us today on this podcast. We hope to see you again next time. Same great place.
Same great time.
All right. Bye, everybody.
See ya.